I just can't fit the uniform, but yeah, there were my heels sliding around. But I'm military, and so one thing I understand is that the enemy chases something that has value. Okay, so the enemy chases what has value. Why is it? What is so valuable about us? In the garden, when Adam and Eve were created, the man was created first. He was the visionary, and the woman was created afterward. See, Adam was taken from the dirt. Sorry, man, if there's any taken from the dirt, but a woman was shaped.
Come on.
We were shaped. Is there something about a woman? You know, we were shaped, we were molded. God took his greatest creation and he created that greatest creation. Why were we the greatest creation? Number one, the man was the visionary. But why did the snake, the serpent, talk to the woman first? They say because the woman was a weaker vessel. Weaker vessel means we were just more sensitive. We were delicate, but we were powerful. And this is what I've learned because I am my leader's armor. I'm one of the armor bearers. And the enemy wants to take down the head. So in order to get to the head, the people that are intercessors and the people that are guards and gatekeepers get attacked the worst because they're after the head. And so the woman was attacked by the very essence of a narcissist, the devil. Now this is the artist formerly known as Lucifer, who fell. And it talks about the very nature of Satan himself. He manipulated the woman in the garden with wordplay. You know, he manipulated her tongue. But if you remember in the very beginning, he tried to lift himself above the throne of God. He wanted to be worshipped. I like this. I like this power. It feels good because he's powerful. Next to the Godhead, he was the angel in charge. You know, he was, and he got lifted. And remember, he got cast down. The next time you see him, the next scene, you see him manipulating the woman. He was after the woman. He was after the woman because he knew if he could get to the woman, he was able to bring down the man.
Right.
And so what you don't realize is that as a woman, the enemy realizes that you are the jewel in the king's crown. You are the jewel in God's crown. And it takes a king. A king. God has to anoint a king because he'll take that jewel out of his crown and put it in the crown of that man and hold him accountable. You better not touch her. You better not mess with her, and you better cover her. He puts but see, the problem is that we try to choose this joker ourselves, and then we obligate God to making sure he blesses our mess. And God said, I didn't put the jewel in that crown. You put the crown on that joker, that donkey, that turtle over there. Now you want me to bless this, but there's a lesson to be learned because there's nothing wasted. Now, a narcissist, an individual that has narcissistic personality disorder, one thing the enemy knows is if I attack it young, I can make it grow up like the wheat and the tare. You'll never know that it's there. And when we do diagnosis, most of the time we can't diagnose narcissistic personality disorder until you're about 19, 20 years old. But it's always been there, you just didn't catch it. See, the woman was created as the gatekeeper. The woman, the enemy knows I can kill the man because he carries the seed, but the woman is the gatekeeper because everything in this earth comes through her body legally into a physical realm. And if I can shut her down as I lead her body, see, God has us as we're temples. We're vision carriers. You say something to a woman, you plant a seed in us, we're going to carry that vision. That's what we're nurturers. And we were watching a movie when we had a shut-in. It was talking about the shepherd. That's why shepherds are so important. Shepherds and first ladies are spiritual parents. They usually catch us when we've already been damaged. And what they do is they carry us on their neck so that our heads are close to their heart. Just like the parent, the nurturer, so we can hear their heartbeat, so we create a bond with them. That's why when you look at Ruth, the only thing that I kept thinking with Ruth is the reason why she didn't leave Naomi is because Naomi became a mother that she never had. And she was so bonded with Naomi, no matter how bitter she got, she stuck to Naomi because her destiny and her lifeline was connected to Naomi. And through Ruth being blessed, so was Naomi blessed. She sent her to the right fields to glean, and her future were in those fields, and she was her cover. And through Ruth, she also begins to suckle a baby. Do you see how relevant a woman is? Do you see why the enemy chases you? Well, the narcissist, everything that God is, love and everything, take that and then flip it opposite. And a narcissist is exactly opposite in everything God is. A person that has narcissistic personality disorder, number one, doesn't realize they have narcissistic personality disorder. It starts off very young, and it usually happens most of the time. Most of the cases that I've had are all traumatic cases. So most of the people that I have dealt with have been traumatized. Sexual abuse is an entry point. Sexual abuse, neglect, rejection, abuse, raised by narcissistic parents. They don't have empathy. And let me show you something. In the book of Timothy, 2 Timothy, this is the spiritual explanation of narcissism and how it came about, because the spirit was already there. The spirit has been there long before we even discovered that the spirit was there. Do you know that anytime a demon wants to set up a principality over a city, over a state, over a country, over a people, over a household, he's got to get enough followers to put him on a throne. And the more followers he gets, the stronger he gets. The spirit that is in this place, not in this place, but the spirit that is in the United States that is coming across, the spirit of narcissism. And there are enough people that are beginning to worship themselves that is starting to empower that narcissistic spirit, where they're hidden in plain sight and you don't even know that you connected to one until it's too late. This is not a normal relationship that you get into. This is not, girl, just let them go and, oh my God, no. They don't have no empathy, no cognitive empathy. I mean, they have no emotional empathy. They have cognitive empathy because they understand how emotions work, so they know how to manipulate you to connect. They connect to people with purpose, but they connect to people that have gaps in their soul that haven't healed. And you cannot be a desperate woman wanting to be with a man, and we were just listening to the flowers over there. You got to be doing your own thing first. You got to be submitted to somebody, because God has put people in place for. See, you want to, how many of y'all, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how many single people really want a godly man? Okay, now I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about them. I'm talking to y'all. It's safe over here. Let me tell you something. How can you ask God for a godly man when you're not submitted to nobody yourself? Because everything that God does, He does it in decency and order. Everything is a ministry. First, you got to master, being a parent or being in the home. Most of you come from tore up homes. We know that. We got parents that didn't know how to love, didn't know how to, they did the best they can. Well, my parents were good. They provided for me, but they didn't show you love. Empathy is something that you learn. You feel it. My daughter has a cat, and in the beginning she used to take that cat and rub his skull back where the ears were on the back. And I said, no, soft touch, that hurt. And so I have to show her soft touch. And then, or somebody, you know how we cry with the kids, pretend like we're crying, ooh, that hurt, and they come and hug. That's teaching them empathy. A narcissist they're not capable of being able to connect to people emotionally. There's a chemical in the brain called oxytocin that when a woman has a child, that chemical begins to activate and help you to bond to that child. The narcissist does not have that. Is affected. Something has happened. And some people have elevated their children. Now, everybody's been abused. They have elevated their children up, and the children have become idols in their house. And so you have introduced that spirit, and it grows up, because remember, Herod wanted to catch them while they were young. So it grows up, the wheat and the tare grows up together, that by the time they're adults, you can't separate the two, because it's so entangled in that personality, it becomes a part of their personality. They can't get delivered. You know why they can't get delivered? Because they don't know how to look inside. You can tell, you can correct me, and I'm going to be hurt and have my lip poked out, and I'm going to go home and pray about it, and she don't love me. And then when I pray about it and I look inside, I'm like, she's so right, please forgive me, let me correct myself. A narcissist is not capable of doing that. They won't look within. So many people, is it possible to cure narcissism? No. Clinically, no, you cannot cure narcissism. Can they be delivered? You can pray and fast until you size of that baby back there. A narcissist has to make their own decision to be delivered. When the demon was inside of the man and Jesus showed up and Jesus asked, who are you? We're legion because we're many. That's a narcissist. Wow. That's a narcissist. But he got in touch with his humanity and he cried out because he needed to be free. A narcissist normally does not do that. Herod was a narcissist. Nimrod was a narcissist. He hunted souls. Jezebel was a narcissist. Saul was a narcissist. Haman was a narcissist. All these, the narcissist spirit has existed a long time. And when we're desperate, we're trying to connect with a man and you're not submitted to a shepherd. How you asking for a godly man and God is trying to teach you? He's trying to teach you patterns. He's trying to teach you some things. You got to, that's why he made shepherds. He made them, just because your parents gave birth to you doesn't mean that they have the right to raise you in the spirit. And he'll connect you with godly men and women that are going to make you mad. A mentor is not going to be your friend. If I could be my pastor's friend, she has no effect over me. Because I'm an old soldier. I'm in the military. If you scared of me, you can't tell me much. You can't lead me into war and you too friendly with me. And so my leader is able to love on me, pet me, hit me in the back of the head, love me some more. I pout a little bit, but she's concerned with purpose. She understands purpose. She doesn't compete with me with narcissistic parents. They compete with their kids. They compete with the children. The children are confused. Children become parentified because they put them in a position, they become an extension of them. And a lot of narcissists, not all of them, a lot of narcissists have sex with their children. That's where the incest comes from. They want power and control. A demon wants power and control. A narcissist wants power and control. That's what they want. And so God has placed people in your life. Most people won't even submit to a ministry. You're supposed to submit to a shepherd and a first lady. Spiritual parents, that is your first ministry. How are you going to submit to a man and you can't even submit to your own shepherd? Some people don't have to. Well, I ain't got to be in church. You know, the Lord talks to me very much. He talks to me at home, and I have God. In the Bible did not, and I'm going to paraphrase this, in the Bible did not say, do not forsake the gathering of the saints. Right. How you going to get a college education? The school's not even accredited. You made up your own classes. Nobody, you a doctor. A doctor of what? You have a master's degree in what? Where'd you go to school at? Where in heaven is that acknowledged? You're supposed to be under a shepherd, and that shepherd is supposed to make you mad because that shepherd understands that you have purpose, and that shepherd's going to keep you covered. And so you should be so focused on your purpose because God is a God of multiplication. 1 times 1 equals 1. One whole man and one whole woman equals one whole relationship, one whole family unit, one whole child, one whole community, one whole body of Christ. If you can't submit to nobody, you are not going to be able to submit to a husband. I can submit to a man, but he can't tell me what to do. Well, you ain't supposed to be getting married then. You need to get back under your shepherd. And you tell your shepherd, you can't tell me what to do. That's fine. Your shepherd is able to see the wolves coming before the wolves come. And then watch out for the people that decide the church is messy. I don't even want to be here. No, you hooked up with somebody. And especially if you're in a house of prophet, you hooked up with somebody. You hooked up with somebody. They pulled you out of the church. You should be working in your purpose. A narcissist, just in the Bible, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. A good thing. He finds a good thing. He finds a treasure box. He finds a treasure. A narcissist is on the hunt, just like a man of God is on the hunt. A man of God is hunting a treasure. And God will give him the keys. It's keys to unlock treasures in you when you get the right one. He's going to unlock treasures that you didn't even know existed, was there. When you come together for a purpose, it's a ministry. He is the head of the house. He is the priest. And you are the co-pastor in that house. Every king had a prophet. You are the prophet in his life. You are the co-pastor in the house. You are the shepherd in that house. A narcissist understands that, and they flip it. They want control. They want to control your soul. They want you to worship them. They don't care about you. It's all about them. They're selfish. They're self-absorbed. It's all about them. They have this grandiosity. These are the ones. Let me just read what the scripture says. Let me go to the scripture. So in 2 Timothy, it gives you the spiritual understanding of narcissism. But understand this, in the last days, dangerous times of great stress and trouble will come. Difficult days that will be hard to bear. For people will be lovers of self, narcissistic and self-focused, all about themselves, and love is selfless. Lovers of money, impelled to greed, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parent, ungrateful, unholy, and profane. And they will be unloving, devoid of natural human affection. They have no emotional empathy. A narcissist has no emotional empathy. Everything that they do it for the purpose of getting you hooked on them. It's not about building a relationship or building rapport. It's about getting you addicted to them because they want you to worship them. They want you to depend on them. They want to isolate you. They have it feels like they're connected, so when you meet them, everything is fast. Everything is wonderful. Everything is beautiful. It's my soulmate. But you heard the flower said that she wasn't even attracted. That wasn't what she wanted. That's not what you're looking for. Somebody that, you have your standards. You want them tall. You want them to look like a garden gnome, pot belly, your choice. We'll love them too. Don't think I ain't gonna talk about you though. To you. But whatever your choice is. But see, a narcissist checks you out. They're hunters. They watch you. Women talk too much. We talk entirely too much. And a narcissist does not connect with a person to build a rapport with you, to get to know you. All of a sudden you wonder, this person has everything in common because you told them. Right. Oh my gosh, this is my soulmate. They like everything, and oh my gosh, I just feel the connection. They studied you. They mirror everything that you do. They monitor your every move. They probably studied you before you even connected with them because they come just like you want. The enemy know what you like. Now, at one minute you have a standard. God, you prayed a certain prayer. I love beautiful teeth. But after being desperate for a while, well, God, as long as the two front teeth be real. I want him to have 20/20 vision. But a glass eye's okay. But you see how your standards start falling when you get desperate. You see how your standards start falling? And we looking at you and you mad at us because we looking at you, we ain't saying nothing to you. You happy, you happy. Y'all so judgmental. Girl, you already know you wrong because you judging me. A narcissist, let's keep going, let me keep going. I'll start laughing. Trying to be serious. Irreconcilable, malicious, gossip. That's what we're called smear campaigning. See, a narcissist, a person that has narcissistic personality disorder already knows what they do. They don't know who they are. They like the power and the feeling of empowerment and controlling another human being. And so what they do is because they know that you might get away because they're they have a very low self-esteem. So what they do is they talk about you to other people so that when you get away, or if you get away and you start telling the people the truth about your situation, no one's going to believe you because you're the crazy one. So you start trying to tell people about what's going on and you're the crazy person. You're the one that's not right. I told you she's jealous. And everything, they wordplay. They what's called gaslighting. They make you feel like you're crazy. 1 minute you put your phone here, you come back, the phone missing, and then you crazy. I told you had the problem with your memory. Everything that you disclose to them, all of the things that you have problems with, weaknesses, heartaches, or anything, they'll play on that and use it against you later on. See, a king, a real man of God will protect those sensitive things. A narcissist use them against you. And you wonder, why do I feel like I'm going crazy? Some of you guys start aging. You start looking older than what you really are. You start having sicknesses in your body that you can't explain. You have stomach issues, stomach poked out. Some of y'all got a six-pack. I do. Under my Spanx. Under all this fats. But some of you guys have stomach issues. Some of you guys have respiratory fibromyalgia, anything. As soon as you get away, you notice you start feeling better.
Come on, it's so true.
In the Bible, it says that when a spirit is cast out, and I'm paraphrasing, when a spirit is cast out, it goes to dry places looking for somewhere else, go out and when come back, they find the house all cleaned up and come back with 7 more worse than what it was before. When you discard a narcissist goes to find another place or another person to control. And when they can't get their foot in there, you were the best supply that they had because you're the one that was beaten down the most and you're the one that's more pliable for that narcissist. And everybody else is giving them a fight. So they come back and you cleaned yourself up. You look good. You got a 6-pack, 4-pack, 40 ounce, whatever you got. Got a new car, got a house, got a new business, whatever you got. And they see, and so now they need you for fuel. They look for fuel. They need something to regulate them. They need something to boost their ego. And so they look for people because you can regulate yourself. So if you're feeling bad, you talk to people. With women, we talk. You know, we can solve some problems because we can talk, queens gather, we can make some things happen. Well, with a person that has narcissism, that's male and female alike, they cannot self-regulate. They have to find people because people are utensils. They're supplied, they're objects to fuel them. And they get bored very easily. So you'll notice that you're with them, but they have other sources of supply to keep them going. One minute they're having a conversation, next minute they're angry with you. One minute they're talking to you, next time you don't hear from them. They come back, all of a sudden you feel like you're crazy. What did I do? You get into an argument about the toilet seat being up. Next thing you know, you are the most cheapest woman that y'all ever met, and you were just crazy in the first place. They'll do anything, and then the fight comes when you go to court. They're going to make you look crazy in court, try to mess your money up. They're going to try to make sure that they make you look crazy in the court system, try to take you. Anything they can do to hurt you. They'll use anything they can. Whatever that is dear to you is what they'll use against you to hurt you even more for having the audacity to leave. That is a satanic spirit, because anything that is valuable to God, the enemy comes after. And he knows how valuable we are. Not saying men are not valuable, because they are. But there's something beautiful about a woman, because the only way that humanity can enter into a physical realm is through a woman. A woman is a gatekeeper. A woman is an armor bearer. A woman is a co-pastor. When the man leaves, she ends up being the pastor of the church at home. But God makes, you don't go to kindergarten and then when they graduate from kindergarten, you in your first year in college. That's absurd. God is that type of God. He does everything in decency and order to build you up, to build you up, to build you up. You got to master the ministry of singleness. I'm not saying be over the ministry of, I'm saying you have to master the singleness that you have, the wholeness. Some of us have been with the wrong people, so they left residue in your life. And they were talking about triggers. You're triggered. Somebody say something to you, telling you what to do. You still need deliverance. It's not time for you to be with nobody. My pastor always on me. See, look at your nasty little attitude. How are you going to marry somebody? Because a man going to tell you what to do. He's the head of the house. He is the pastor. And you are the co-pastor. And you have to connect. And you know, I was listening to when Pastor Frank said that he was praying and God told him something. He looked at his wife and God was telling her the same thing at the same time. That's a godly union. You see what I mean? But God has to prepare you. And you can't rush ahead of time, because you are making yourself susceptible to people that have narcissistic personality disorder. This is domestic violence. They're hunters. They will tear your mind up. They'll tear your soul up. The ultimate goal is for you to kill yourself or for them to kill you. And some of them are malignant. Some of them are dangerous. Some of them are after your children. Right. That demon is after your children. And it manifests itself. That's what happens when when you find a counselor. Don't just ask them if they're a Christian. That's blanket. Don't say, are you a Christian? Because there are certified Christian counselors that study it and then they certify Christian counselors. No, ask them questions like they ask me, are you saved? What church do you belong to? My pastor's picture is in my office. So if you got any question, who is that? That's my pastor. I don't have to say much more. Another thing, let's keep going. So God said, devoid of self-control, intemperate, immoral, brutal, haters of good, traitors. They can't connect with, they don't have no friends. They don't connect with anybody. They use people. They buy people. Reckless, conceited lovers of sensual pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding to a form of outward godliness, religion. The religious, some of them religious narcissists, powerful. But if you stay around them long enough, you start picking up. You can't turn a blind eye to what you see, because God made you sensitive. That's why the enemy was able to get to Eve, because she was sensitive. He hates her because, remember, after they fell, God put a curse. He'll always hate you and you'll always hate him. He'll always come after your seed, because Jesus was the seed came out of a woman's body, crushed his head. And from that point forward, he was always attacking the feet. What is the feet? Mode of transportation. That's the stability point. He hit the heel. If you mess up a person's heel, that is a tendon, that one. You mess with that, you don't have any balance. Your position is off. So the enemy is out of position. He's on the ground. The woman, though she sinned and caused the man to fall, we still have our position. We can still birth the thing. You give it to us, we're going to birth it. We're going to birth that thing. And the enemy knows it. And he hates us. And he pursues us because we're gatekeepers. We're gatekeepers and we're protectors over families, over the men in our lives. But you got to get it right. You have to connect with a mentor. You want a godly man, you got to connect to a good shepherd and be loyal and be submitted. Your folk, just like the flowers were teaching. Ruth wasn't looking for no man. She's busy dealing with Naomi. Making sure she ate. Making sure she was taken care of. She loved her. She genuinely, everybody left and Naomi was hurt. She was going through grief. She lost her son. She lost her husband. Even, she probably, is my sanctified imagination, loved Orpah. Like Orpah had never been loved. And even Orpah turned her back. But Ruth stayed because she connected with Ruth. Ruth loved her. She gave up her religion. She gave up her people. And she fought, your people are going to be my people. Your God is my God. Wherever you go, I'm going to go. Wherever you die, I'm going to die there. She didn't know, but she just mean. She just angry. When women are bitter, they say the wrong things. And a lot of times what had happened is that we speak curses when we're angry and when we're hurt. We've had parents to speak curses over us and didn't even realize it. I would never go through that again. No man will ever. None of my children will. Those are curses. Some people actually will curse the singleness. Y'all don't come up here talking about breaking curse. Some of y'all need to be single. But there are curses of singleness, curses of barrenness. Not everybody's under the curse, y'all. Some of you don't pray for me, no, I'm not. Some of y'all need to be single. Some of you got to be delivered. Some of you got to get right in your spirit. We heard that throughout the whole conference. But she stuck to Naomi because Naomi was her covering. Naomi told her what fields to go to, where to be safe. And that's how she ran into her purpose, like the flower said. She ran into her purpose. He wasn't looking for no wife. He was even shocked at the fact that Naomi set it up. Your Boaz is going to come through your mentor. When you're connected to your mentor, your spiritual parent, they're going to send you to the fields to glean, and that's how you're going to run into your purpose. And when you run into your purpose, it's going to make your mentor is going to be taken care of. Always remember that. Your mentor, what you're connected to, you are affected by. And so she's going to be blessed, or he's going to be blessed when you hit your purpose. It's going to undergird her and lift her up, or him up. So let's keep going. For among them are those who worm their way into homes and captivate morally weak and spiritually dwarfed women, weighed down by the burdens of their sins, easily swayed by various impulses, always learning and listening to anybody who will teach them, but never able to come to knowledge of truth. You don't want nobody to tell you what to do. Well, you should be married, because he's going to tell you what to do. He's the boss of you. So this right here is the clinical characteristic of narcissism. Now, remember what I said about the spiritual, what it said in 2 Timothy, right? This is the mental health diet. This is the symptoms of a person with narcissistic. Actually, appropriate, you're supposed to say a person with narcissistic personality disorder, but for the sake of empowering those that have suffered, we call them the narcissist, the narc. Have an exaggerated self of importance. They're more important than anybody else. Those are the ones that always want to be seen, always want to be heard. They know more than everybody else. Have a sense of entitlement, privilege, or right, and require constant excessive admiration. They're a big empty pit. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's never enough. You can never satisfy that individual. Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievement that warranted. They'll tell you about all the education and who they are and this, but they don't have any proof of that type of education, because what they do is they pick people of stature and they listen to how they talk, they listen to how they dress, they listen to what they mirror them. And so they'll fool you to a point to make you think that they are in the elite as well. That they'll go all out to make sure they own the expensive cars and the clothing and everything, because there's something you have that they want. And so they'll do whatever they can to get it from you. When they first present themselves, they watch you, and then they begin to mimic and mirror you. Be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, billions, beauty, or a perfect mate. Believe that they are superior and can only associate with equally special people. Monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people that perceive as inferior. Expect special favors and questioning compliance with expectations. Take advantage of others to get what they want. They always take advantage of other people. Your needs are irrelevant. Their needs are more important than yours or the children. You have, when we're talking about the queens, men and women do the same thing, but these are the men that only reason why they buy the house because someone says something. They buy these fancy cars, but you don't have enough food to feed your children. They got nice clothes and everything, and you struggling to pay the light bill. You sitting in the dark, but they look good though. They just don't come home, get no light so you can see it. They're envious of others and believe others envy them. They always think somebody is jealous of them. Behave in an arrogant or haughty manner, coming across as conceited, boastful, and pretentious. Insist on having the best of everything. For instance, the best car, the best office, the best woman,